From the waterfront at the moment, Judd Trump seeking a 4th title in this event, having won 3 on the bounce up against Jenson Kendrick in his 2nd season as a professional. It's the frames, it's the first of 4 to go through to round 2, and a meeting with Julian Leclerc of Belgium. And it's Judd Trump to get us underway, and it's good afternoon to Neil Foulds.
Yes, good afternoon, Philip, and everyone watching here from Belfast. Waterfront Hall, where for many this is, if not the best, certainly one of the very leading home nations events. The Welsh Open has been around a long time, but pulsating atmosphere as the week goes on, and I don't expect this week to be any different, especially if Mark Allen is there at the weekend. But for now, as you said, Judd Trump has become the player to beat again, just like the 2019-2020 seasons when he dominated. He's not quite there yet, but he's won the last 2 events in such style that there was talk of him missing this event. I never believed he would, because he wants.
And he's also looking to join a pretty exclusive club of players to have won 3 ranking event titles in a row. It hasn't been done since Ding Junhui achieved it a decade ago. Trump bidding to become the 5th to achieve it.
Well, it's a phenomenal achievement, isn't it? You know, you think of all the names that have done it. They're big hitters, players that can just breathe through match after match. I mean, Judd Trump is a very warm order to win this match today against Jenson Kendrick, who hasn't done a great deal, let's be honest. But it is only a best of 7. And one of Jenson Kendrick's few wins was against Stuart Bingham, former world champion. So on his best, clearly, you know, he is capable of upsetting a good player, a top player.
And he's playing his idol today. He was very excited. Judd Trump, who he supported since the age of 10. He's just 21, Kendrick. As Neil mentioned, success has been but that victory over Bingham in the English Open, he says, has given him a lot of confidence. He backed it up as well at the venue in Brentwood by beating Lucas Kleckers. So he's got a couple of wins back to back, just to prove to himself that he's good enough at this level. And it's now a question of trying to build on that, but clearly he has a seismic task on his hands today.
One thing it does change, though, at a match like this, you're playing Judd Trump, but not only that, you're playing, you know, on the TV live, watching. All of those kind of things just add a little bit of something that's different to the mix.
Yeah, apparently here today in the arena watching him, so of course he'll be willing his son on, but I guess that adds a little bit of extra pressure, that determination to do well for your friends and family, and an intimidating atmosphere as well. Big crowd playing on the table. It's just a case of trying to embrace that rather than be intimidated by it. Easier said than done, particularly if you're playing your idol.
Yeah, this main venue here in the Waterfront Hall is a very good venue. It's a lovely atmosphere. Of course, there used to be, it's an 8-day event now, and one of the reasons for that, despite qualifying, there it is, beautiful arena. Front room out the back for some of the matches, which meant they could get through a lot quicker. But now we've got fewer players because there's been a qualifying round, but only this 3-table down to, of course, 1 at the weekend. But it is a terrific event, and Judd Trump, one of only 4 players to have won it, and as we were speaking about before, Philip, it's only ever been won by a left-handed player. It's a little bit of a quirk. There's no obvious reason. The facts, isn't it?
Yeah, Mark King won the inaugural one in 2016 in that thriller against Barry Hawkins, and of course received the trophy from Alex Higgins' daughter Lauren Mark Williams beat Yan Bingtao a few months before he lifted his down with 2 to play.
16.
And then it was the Judd Trump 3-year burst
17.
in winning against Ronnie O'Sullivan 3 years in a row by the same score of 9-7, and Mark Allen in the last 2 years.
Well, they're hard to win once, these home nations events.
24.
For the seeded players, 128 down to 7 matches, but to win it 3 years in a row and then 2, as far as Allen is concerned, it's quite an effort. Anyway, he's in early here. I can't believe he's not brimming with confidence, quite frankly. I'll be amazed if he's anything but. I think sometimes all the travel, which of course had a few days to recover from, can be overcome by just being confident with everything about your game.
And this is a very significant tournament in Trump's career, because when he won his first back in 2018, he'd not won one for over a year. And to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in a tight final as he did, catalyst for that burst of extraordinary consistency. He won 14 ranking events in 28 months. Including, of course, his first world title.
Yes, took the pink now. I wonder if he was going to stay on the blacks, but it would have been more difficult to do so. He's got a match to win here.
Started the season by making the final of the European Masters. And, of course, that extraordinary victory at the English Open, when he came from the brink of defeat both in the semis and the final, against spelled any thoughts of jet lag when he flew over, arriving late for the Wuhan Open, and went on to lift that as well. So extraordinary run of success for Trump. And aside from Ding, the only other players to have won 3 in a row, the great Ray Reardon, Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry, who of course won 5 in a row. Be another slice of history for Trump if he could prevail this week. But no joy with the double. The break ends.
45.
A 45-point lead in this opening frame.
Now this opening red is anything but easy down the cushion. And he's got a slight angle, but not a huge. It's something he can play with here. Well, that's beautifully hit. That's a lovely shot. That would give him some confidence. Can be very tough. A couple of welcome wins. That Bingham win, I think we spoke about, was the first one, well, for a long time. But, sometimes a win or two does help with confidence, of course. Losing can become a habit, and as these tour players go from tournament to draws in which you kind of know that you're almost certainly going to lose. So all of a sudden confidence drains and you're half the player you were when you got your tour card. It can be.
And of course, if you don't win a match, you don't get any prize money, so there's that factor as well. Has talked about how he spent most of last season watching the tournaments on TV, having bowed out early. questioning whether he was good enough to be a professional. But I think to beat a player of Bingham's calibre would have given him a huge lift.
Yeah, I mean, the players do get a £20,000 retainer every year, as we all know, and it kind of just keeps your head above water, so to speak. But of course, you've got to win over £20,000 to make a profit beyond that, because that money's repayable. But it's been certainly an addition to the tour. A lot of people poo-poo it, but it does help. And also, without going into too much, entry fees was waived. Obviously, there would be entry fees of many thousands of pounds, and nothing like a retainer. So, while players might think they've got it tough now, it was actually more difficult than that years ago. But on the table, it's no different. Anyway, it's encouraging from Kendrick.
Certainly a great red to get in. Struck it beautifully.
21.
Hails from Stoke in the West Midlands. As mentioned, just 21 years of age. He qualified for the tour in Q School 3 last year. He beat Hayden Pinney.
Good players have come from that part of the world. Some of them locals and some not so. I think club in Stoke where the likes of Ray Reardon even was playing for a while, because Dave Harold more recently. Some really good players have come from Stoke. The Stoke Potter, they often get introduced as. This is excellent, what he's done so far. It must be touch and go. I think he wanted to be a bit further to the right.
28.
But so far, so good with this first opportunity. Just think he's on the red, but it must be marginal. Another great shot.
29.
That's open. Kendrick.
$36. $37.
Well, and red here. As a right-handed player, he can end up behind it. Of course, he'll need it.
$43.
I was watching his cue action that Judd has actually never seen him play. They haven't played before. And often you might be in contact with someone in the lower reaches of the rankings. So it might be an experience for him too. So far, so good. Not necessarily for Judd, but for Jenson himself. Now, that's an excellent move. He's played on the red when the shot was available, rather than waiting until it was the last possible option.
51.
Trump was in first on a break of 45, attempted a double to the right centre. Left what looked like an awkward red for Kendrick, which he potted superbly, and this is the result. And this now one of the key shots.
The opening red was very good. It was not dissimilar to that one, but down the bottom kitchen. The only thing I'd say is he hasn't got the perfect angle to get from black to red. If the keyboard was just lower, then it would be easy up and down to do to force this. Well,
15.
It's now a question of finishing the job. He's carved out a winning position in this frame. Done it very impressively. The ball's now at his mercy.
60.
This green and then yellow and green would be enough. And I'm not sure this scenario
64.
when he missed that double.
Well, no, because you don't take a player
65.
lightly, and he didn't do that. But clearly, he would have expected to win them. Still does, but this double was fair enough. It just hit the far jaw, came back, left a difficult starter.
68.
But this has been an exceptional break by any standard.
He was very excited about the prospect of this match, playing Judd Trump.
72.
He said it was a dream come true, and sometimes dreams can turn to nightmares in this sport, particularly when you're not used to the big time. The TV cameras, a big crowd,
77.
big tournament against the player on the tour right now. But what a break this has been. Absolutely. Not enough for the century. But that is as good a clearance as 90 as you're going to see. A sparkling performance in the opening frame from the huge underdog here at the Waterfront Hall. What a start, and a bit of a wake-up call for Judd Trump. Open, and what a start from
Kendrick to break.
the huge underdog Jenson Kendrick, who didn't win a match in his debut season as a professional last year, and has just made a sparkling 90 clearance, which was far from straightforward. The break-off, however, less impressive. And Judd Trump, who got in initially with 45, missed a double, spent the rest of that frame in his chair, no doubt admiring how composed Kendrick looked. But that's an early error, which could be expensive to this.
One. Six.
Well, that wasn't the kiss he was looking for, but I don't suppose the pink is off very often on that right-hand side cushion after the break-off shot. And it wasn't that costly, but it was a rather strange break-off shot actually from Jenson.
6.
I mean, we see break-off shots all the time, but to come back and hit the pink, that's a kind of a new one on me. And you see him, many different things happen, but that I don't think I've seen very often. Didn't prove that costly.
Another sweetly struck red, right in the centre of the pocket. Plenty of action on the cue ball.
That's an absolute beauty of a shot, isn't it? I mean, it's almost like he's emulating the man sitting in the chair. Of course, Judd is left-handed and Jenson right-handed, but he said he's sort of somebody that admires Judd's game. He's trying to take it to a new level here. I think his admiration for Judd might have hoped that sort of comes another day, really, if he's going to start to play like him. He's made a great start to this match.
so much a professional sport is played in those 6 inches between the ears. Last season, Kendrick had zero confidence. Couldn't buy a victory. Was questioning himself. Having worked so hard to become a professional, then questioning whether he had what it took to remain one. But I think that victory over Stuart Bingham, former world and masters champion, of course, has just transformed his mindset.
Yeah, I watched him play Rhian Evans, who's a women's world champion multiple times. But he didn't play his game in that match, neither did Rhian actually, and he lost. I suppose sometimes you just hit rock bottom with it all and you think, well, I can only do things in a certain way. It almost takes the pressure off you. Because you've got to be able to play the game in the first place. Unlucky. Got into it too much. But like, if nothing else, he's proving that he can play this game. Table fitters just getting the table ready next door. I can tell you that Ryan Day was beaten by Ma Hai Long. Robert Milkin's beaten also by Zhao Yupeng. So 2 Chinese players beating 2 ranking tournament winners this morning. Obviously, Wu Yiza didn't get the better of Neil Robertson.
Jenson, Kendrick, 17.
3 tables set up, like I mentioned. Crowds get a bird's eye view of everything.
The other matches in this first afternoon session, Kyron Wilson against Sam Craigie, table 2, as Trump clips the red in. Ricky Walden against Ben Wollaston. Our second match on table 1 in this afternoon session, Mark Williams, who of course won this title in 2017 in a decider against Yan Bingtao. He's up against Yan Peng Fei. And on table 2, it'll be Jack Lazowski against Rebecca Kenner. Hamid Asif.
Frank. 4.
Well, the angle is a very good one. 7 reds. Just wants to ensure that nothing's going to be potted into a corner pocket of the reds, so he nudges them gently. Oh, well, all that's one thing, but to miss the pot is divided concentration. Something we all know about in snooker, where you're thinking about your positional shot. You wouldn't have missed this blue had he only been thinking about the blue. So the script is changing a little bit here in this match. I think most people would have assumed comfortable win for Trump on all known form. Even if he does win it, it doesn't appear it's going to be comfortable the way the pair of these are playing. Kendrick has applied pressure, and Trump looked a little bit sort of wide-eyed at the end of the last frame. He didn't quite know, not so much what had hit him, but he didn't really see it coming the way that frame ended.
Trump would go to 5th in the all-time list on his own in terms of ranking event winners, were he to prevail this week. Currently in joint 5th place with on 25.
Oh, what a good shot. Tuning over a ball. I think you're pleased to get the cue ball back to bulk as much as anything else that you might achieve. The pot was played and very much a bonus.
Jenson Kendrick, 1.
Played it in an interesting way. He's blocked off the left side of the table. This was the previous red. I think it's beautifully cued. So Judd's got to go right side of the table, or if not, round through bulk. And this is always sort of the long route when you're looking at playing through bulk first before you get to a red. The miss will be called here.
Foul. No miss.
And I'm
Jenson
sure it
Kendrick,
will
4.
be accepted.
Kevin Dabrowski is a referee for this match.
Jenson.
Well, yes or no? The answer is yes. I tell you what, that was some shot, because it didn't look like the angle was on unless he just grazed it. He come very close to hitting the blue and that right-hand red, so playing the fractions here. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, just the tiniest grazing of the red. Kevin Dabrowski was right on the spot to call it correctly. Well, that is a humdinger of a fluke. It really is, especially with the brown now potable. Probably more than Judd deserved on the shot. Didn't get all that close to it. So you've got to take them when they come your way.
Six. Good save.
This is a real bonus for Judd Trump after that pretty outrageous fluke just now, having missed the long red. But it's a chance
14.
to re-establish himself. That said, there's a lot to do to turn this into something meaningful.
He's very good at playing all around the table through bulk. I think it might try and come between yellow and green around the table to get to the right side of where the black is now. Certainly you want to get over that side. Well, I was going to say he's normally very good at that shot, but that's gone horribly wrong. Plenty of obstacles in the way on that one.
21. Judd Trump, 21.
Excellent crowd on this opening day here in Belfast, as we would expect. The players, of course, contesting the iconic Alex Higgins trophy this week. Snooker's original Belfast child. And at the moment, they're being treated to a very creditable performance from a player who was expected to be brushed aside, I think, by many. Jenson Kendrick more than holding his own in the early running. 1-0 up, well and truly in this frame.
Yes, he played a good shot there. Trump's got access to one of the reds, but to get it safe up and down is not straightforward. He's very close to the yellow with the cue ball. But that looks a pretty good return from Trump. Very good. Well, the escape that Kendrick played was not bad, but he did leave that red on. Hard to think for sure that the frame is going to be won at this visit by Trump.
Green ball. Four. Trump, 4.
A wonderful arena for snooker, 3 tables in use. Of course, we have the extra day in this event with just the 3 match tables. And this frame's still very much up for grabs. Just 21 Trump's lead, still 51 available. Last season was something of a frustration, of course, for Trump in ranking events. He didn't win one. Made the final of the World Grand Prix when he lost a decider to Mark Allen. He did win his second Masters. And he talked this season about being determined to start playing more on his terms again, having got a bit bogged down at times last season, lost a bit of confidence maybe. His long potting wasn't quite there, but all of that has returned spectacularly in the last few weeks. 2 ranking titles back to back, And the old confidence, the old swagger has been back as well. But at the moment, he's embroiled in a real battle with Kendrick in this opening match.
Just looking for the finest of edges there.
4. And a miss. Judd Trump 6.
Just trying to will it across with his cue, which doesn't quite work, but I suppose we've all done it. Judd playing it himself, interestingly. He feels he can maybe get Kendrick in some bother here. Oh, that's not a bad shot, is it? The line is great. What a good shot. Close to being absolutely A1. Putting your opponent in was something that players might have thought of. But he backed his own safety shot to be good enough. Kendrick is in big trouble now, I think. Unless he can get to the top red. Oh, can he? What a shot that is.
1.
Well, if he could somehow win this frame as well, and looking at a sort of different possible outcome to this match than anyone thought about. Great red. Well, he tried to get the keyboard wide around the angles, but it was never quite on that shot.
Jenson Kendrick 5.
That doesn't look particularly pleasant, this shot that Trump is faced with here. He could roll up to them, I suppose. But even then, can't afford to get this shot wrong.
.105 spots between them in the rankings. Judd Trump has moved up to number 3. Of course, he's a former world number 1. Kendrick at 108. And this is second pro season. Trump is going to need both reds himself to clinch this frame and level the match. And that is vintage Trump. Bit awkward on the black though.
Yeah, it's a beautiful pot. There's been some terrific long pots actually from both players already in these couple of frames. What do you do here for the best? I don't think you'd roll up to the black. That would be, well, you could do, but it wouldn't be as positive a shot as playing down the table. Putting that cue ball further away. Maybe he's going to play it. I think I'd be trying to put distance between the cue ball and the object ball here. It looks like that's what he's considering. Putting the black near the cushion is not the worst shot.
Trump 1.
Not bad. Putting a higher value colour into a safe-ish position is better than anything really. It means your opponent's chance of clearing in one visit are lessened. Well, he got a double kiss there and still managed to get the snooker. That was strange. And troublesome for Kendrick.
Not much room to manoeuvre. Trump only needs red and brown or better to clinch this frame, barring snookers as things stand. But of course, Kendrick is snookered. Oh, he's caught the black.
And a miss. Judd Trump.
So 30 now the difference with 35 left. It's going back.
Yeah, and of course hitting the black again wouldn't be any good to him, because that would mean he would need a snooker. And clearly the shot could happen. There is Rob Spencer, the marker, doing his other role of trying to get the balls replaced.
Yeah.
Alongside Kevin Dabrowski, a referee. So the balls aren't quite right here.
Yeah.
I think we saw that the black is not quite right. Cue ball, not either, but it's very difficult. I mean, you know, we can see this imagery. And I don't suppose Kevin can see it quite so clearly. He's being guided by the marker. Bit more. There you go.
I believe it froze on the screen, so I can't see it at this point.
Well, the screens are frozen.
The black doesn't move now, so...
It's not as if anything else can go wrong, to be honest. The technical problems this morning meant there was no scoring out there. In the arena, they were using manual scores. Yeah, I mean, this is not our referee's fault.
It
I mean, he
seem to work, like there's a freeze or something, so...
I'm not sure what's happened there. Just let me bring it up again.
Let me check. Yeah, I can see myself, so it's working now.
It's basically a ball's width up the table.
Yeah, the cue ball is fine, I see. Yeah. Judd? Jenson?
well, the cue ball still isn't right, but anyway, I think the marker and the referee are at the mercy of technology, which may not have totally been their friend there. Oh, goodness me. 2 minutes in it now. The only good news is for the referee, he won't have to replace anything, because he won't be... If there is any good news, that's the only thing. Of course, for Trump, it's good news.
Yeah, Kendrick now at the snooker's required stage, just the one at the moment, but if Trump knocks this red in, it will be one each. But it is just the one snooker, so the frame certainly not over, and the remaining colours very inviting to lay snookers.
Wasn't a great shot from Judd. I mean, on a different day, I suppose 1 day out of 50, that cue ball going off in the right corner because he let it travel a bit, or it could be a double kiss. You don't let the balls run freely when your opponent needs one snooker. It's something you're taught as a junior player. Well, it could get interesting, couldn't it? If he had a nicer angle on a colour, then even more so. I think he can cut the pink in, but thinking more about the position of the green and the blue. A nice shield to get a snooker behind. For now, he's got to just concentrate on knocking the pink in, keeping it down to 1 snooker on the yellow. Good shot. There's a fiendish snooker in here, you know, somewhere. Whether Jenson can execute it and find that shot, we'll find out. But where the balls are placed, oh, isn't that unlucky? Anything but that jaw, and he's got a lovely snooker. All that area of table which would have counted as a snooker, and he's found the one place where he pots.
So 32 now the lead, 2 snookers required for Kendrick. It's not been pretty, this frame. Trump has really had to scrap to restore parity.
Yeah, I mean, we've arrived at 1 each, but there's no doubt in my mind Jenson Kendrick has been the better player of the 2.
No.
Trump, as we know these days, has so many layers to his game, though. Play that way when required, and sometimes the balls dictate that you have to. Kendrick has played exceptionally well so far, but it's Judd Trump who has been able to level the match on the first afternoon here at the Waterfront Hall in Belfast. He puffs out his cheeks. I'm not surprised. He's had to work hard for that. And so we're level. 1 frame each. This match is proving to be a real contest. Jenson Kendrick with that quite magnificent from 45 behind in the first frame. Judd Trump winning a much tighter and more tactical set to level up proceedings. So 1 apiece, first to 4 to go through. The winner to play Julian Leclerc of Belgium, who of course made the shootout final last season. Trump, who's miles ahead on the 1-year list as a result of the 2 back-to-back ranking titles he's won already. Finalist as well at the European Masters. He's a full £125,000 clear of nearest rival Mark Williams on that list. And of course that has obvious benefits with the World Grand Prix, Players Championship, Tour Championship in mind. Just takes all the pressure off to have banked so many points so early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a sort of snowball effect, isn't there, to winning early. You know, you're in all those events which carry more money just for being in them. So to get a good start like Judd, I mean, say good, he's not really covering it, but to win 2 tournaments in a row, both ranking, both big money, means he's going to be very high up the rankings at the end of the season, going into the World Championships. So the pressure's completely off him in that regard. Not that his ranking was ever in a lot of trouble, of course.
So if he continues at anything like the same rate, he could become the first player to make a century of centuries twice in a single campaign. Of course, Neil Robertson was the first to do that. He was a winner earlier against Wu Yize. Robertson was 86 on the 1-year list coming into this tournament. Yeah,
I mean, Robertson is long overdue, isn't he, to to go deep into an event. Doesn't mean he will, of course, because again, it was what we're saying about other players, whereby you lose your form and it can be very difficult to get it back. But you get the feeling with Robertson at some point, you know, his things are he's gonna turn the corner, maybe this week. He's a left-hander, which, as we said earlier, is one of the reasons he could win it, because only left-handers have ever won this event. Nobody right-handed has won it.
A view from the gods of this magnificent arena. Judd Trump on Discovery Plus just now was talking about how much he enjoys playing here. And that's backed up by the success he's had, of course, winning it 3 times in a row, beating O'Sullivan each time by a 2-frame margin. He's now the most successful home nations player, having won his 2nd English Open. He now has 5 titles, one ahead of Selby, who's not here, of course. O'Sullivan also pulling out for medical reasons. O'Sullivan currently 28th on the one-year ranking list.
Well, it's not impossible this could end up a deadlock of some description, because no player's going to go up the table. So, I mean, I wouldn't rule out a re-rack, especially if Kendrick doesn't do anything much here with the touching ball. I mean, if he can't get out of there and play a safety shot of any importance, I think we're looking at just a re-rack here. Players should just have a little look. Just look round at Judd. I think they'd start this frame again. I mean, even if he plays out of there and just rolls it to the cushion, I think if this shot ends up played similarly, surely a re-rack is the only possible outcome. Because even if he plays down here, Judd can roll back in there. I think he's got the same shot to drop into the side of the bunch, perhaps. Well, he's decided he's going to try and take the cue ball away from this end of the table, which is risky, I think. I don't see why he took that chance. I can't believe he decided to play a low-risk shot like that when he wasn't under pressure to do so. He could have dropped into the side of the bunch. He wouldn't have left the right-hand red. He could have been having a re-rack out of it, which I think would have been more suitable. I think he might regret that last shot
1.
I think he already is.
The heavenward glance tells the story. Good chance for Trump. He's not really got going yet. He's not really been allowed to. Made a 45 break in the opening frame, missed a double,
6.
and probably thought, well, I'll get another opportunity to kill the frame off. Spent the rest of the frame in his chair. And then the second frame became quite an awkward one. Bits and bobs got him over the line in the end. So just looking to establish the normal fluency in this frame.
Well, frame 1 started like this with Judd in early with a decent break, but then the chance was left and Jenson Kendrick made a superb clearance. He's put Judd on the back foot a little bit in this match. Just got a little glimpse of that beautiful new tip that he had put on between sessions of the English Open. It was a gamble at the time, although the other one apparently was breaking up.
25.
Because he's off to Wuhan the next day, so with those new tips, you give them a few days.
26.
Yes, the first couple of days a little bit of a struggle because the tip's not bedded in, but come now, I bet you it's absolute beautiful now. Paul Collier put it on. It's probably playing to its absolute peak of its powers a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Look at that. So it was a gamble that paid off, I think, changing the tip at that moment. Got the final one. Played beautifully in Wuhan. And here he is trying to win this event for the 4th time.
41.
Meanwhile, Sam Craigie is just cleared to the pink to lead Kyron Wilson by 2 frames to 1 on table 2. A match you can watch on Discovery Plus. The other match available on table 3 features Ricky Walden and Ben Wollaston, and they're still playing their opening frame. As things stand, Wollaston needs a snooker with just blue, pink and black remaining as Trump continues to build a handsome lead in this frame after Kendrick
50.
opted to play back to the balk end and left one.
Be unlucky there, isn't he? Just to cling to that first red like that. Not a great deal that you can do when that happens.
55.
I think he's played it quite well, but just clung to that first red that he hit, which ends the break. Albeit a break which could go on to winning the frame, but not at this visit.
Judd Trump, 55.
A nice 55 break, but Trump will be wary because, of course, he was 45 in front in frame 1, and that wasn't enough by any stretch. But catching the middle pocket jaw, not good news for Kendrick. Not punished though, and with Trump missing the red, he's opened the bunch up.
Yeah, exactly. The red opening the bunch up, Philip, as you say, has brought about a number of reds into open play. And this first red, if it goes in, then it might be a very significant moment. Not an easy starter, though.
I think many people thought that this match might be over after an hour's play. The way Trump has been playing of late, on the crest of a wave. Jenson Kendrick still very much feeling his way as a professional after a disappointing first season, but it's been anything but a walk in the park for Trump, and this is a good chance for Kendrick to get back into the frame, although you can see the disappointment there that he's not quite got into the cue ball enough positionally.
6.
And that was enough to cause him to miss the red. Maybe there was a touch of disappointment that played into that miss, because he could still pot the red, but he knew he should have been nicely on it, which he wasn't. So that's a big let off for Judd Trump.
Yeah, like you say, he didn't quite get on the ball as he wanted to from the previous shot. There was a chance to just repeat the dose of frame 1 in a way.
And that is such a good pot from Trump. It was not easy, but played it with a lot of control right in the centre of the pocket. So a golden chance now for Trump to move in front. 55 the lead, 67 left. And that's frame ball for Trump, so it is going to be 2-1. Just one or two errors creeping into Kendrick's game
40.
In this frame, opting to play safe up the table when there were reds available for Trump.
15.
He did leave one and then caught the middle pocket jaw. And playing safe again. Trump then missed, but Kendrick missed the red to the left corner, so Trump has dominated this frame.
22. 23.
All that topspin. Cue ball just went like a banana. Didn't hit the red, but
30.
yeah, it's been entertaining 3 frames. 2-1 to Judd. Could have been a little different.
Trump, 30 in the frame.
30 more than enough, though, for Judd Trump at that visit to clinch the frame, and with it, a 1-frame advantage here in Belfast. And he's halfway now to a place in round 2. He leads 2 frames to 1. So Judd Trump now 2-1 to the good, helped by a break of 55 in frame 3 after Jenson Kendrick had made a 90 clearance to lead 1-0. Trump taking a scrappier second frame and is now 2 away from the second round here at the Northern Ireland Open. Trump going for his 4th title in this event after winning 3 on the bounce from 2018. And again, the break-off from Kendrick not ideal, but a kindly kiss off the blue, hence the hand up in apology.
Yeah, both breaks have been different. That one more of an obvious mistake, but the first break-off he made somehow hit the pink coming round the table. I've not seen that before, I don't think, very often. Well, Judd got a little lucky there as well. This is the other break-off from the frame we've just seen, where it hits the blue. Whatever you do, don't hit the blue, they say. Of course, it puts the blue safe as much as anything else, which is an annoyance. Also an annoyance is the queuing over the green he's got here. It's a horrible shot he's left with. I mean, if you can roll this in and providing the black goes the opposite corner, it'd be a shot and a half, but it's very difficult. Potted it, which is a good effort, but now, if he is going to play this pink, it's putting everything into one shot, I think. Not sure that the black went in the first place, which maybe is why he didn't roll it. What do you do here? Do you pot? This is horrible. Very close to the ball you're trying to pot. Hard to locate the right potting angle. You're doing plenty should you miss it. Leaving lots on. So, oh, there's the black. I mean, I don't know whether that even goes or not. It's touch and go. This looks like he's playing this. This is very difficult. We've got a bird's eye view of it. It's not the right part of the pocket. Great camera work, but the pot was a difficult one.
So Trump back in early in this fourth frame as he looks to really stamp his authority on this match after being outplayed for a frame and a half.
So.
Well, now Judd is onto that black that we were looking at earlier on. And it's one of those, even from behind the pocket, quite honestly, I'm not too sure whether it goes. I mean, that is fiendishly tight, isn't it? Does it go? The only way you're going to know is to play it. That's how close it is. My guess is it does. But that is only a guess.
Right.
Landed in the middle of the table with reds available, albeit neither
40.
that easy to get from red to colour.
Ben Williston, by the way, won the opening frame against Ricky Walden on table 3. It's still 2-1 to Sam Craigie over Kyron Wilson on table 2. Both of those matches are available on Discovery Plus.
Yeah, I don't think he had any assurances of being on one there, whichever way he played it. And unless he decides to knock in a long yellow, which seems unlikely, probably be putting a good safety shot in the way that Kendrick has been playing, which has been very good. Can't afford to take any liberties, I don't think, here, Trump.
Trump, 15.
Well, that is a beautiful shot, isn't it? It's so sweetly struck. The pot seemed to just zip into the pocket, didn't even think about it in a jaw. It's well worth another look. Just watch this. All happened in a blink of an eye. Well, that is unlucky, isn't it? I mean, having potted a good red into that pocket, that red drops in from the next shot. Unpredictable. I mean, you might not have known exactly where the balls are going to end up, but you don't really believe you're going to knock a red in. Overcut it slightly, didn't he? He almost overcut a similar shot earlier, which just fell in off the jaw, but not this time. So the foul shot with the red being knocked in has not really cost Judd anything. It wasn't a straightforward opening shot from Kendrick there. He was on the cushion. It was always missable.
Seven. Eight.
That's pushed one of the awkward reds out into a good area. That means the black is potable into both corners. Great chance to get the frame one.
$16. 23.
Didn't know, again, all that much about the cue ball, and the frame is not won yet. But if he's held it enough for that red to the left middle, it's okay. Other than that, the red up into the top left pocket, that must be the red he's closest to. Yeah, that's what he's playing. 42 the lead, so he needs a bit more yet.
42.
Red colour following this black, any colour. And his lead is 3-1. So not there yet.
39.
There was some doubt right up until the last moment as to whether that was going to drop. It held its line all the way. Didn't curl into the pocket, but it dropped. And he is such a shot maker, isn't he, Judd Trump? There's no ball on the table that's safe when he's playing well. His ability to retrieve situations, keep a break going, perhaps unrivaled in the sport. And he's done enough, barring a couple of snookers, to put himself 2 up with 3 to play. 58 the difference, 51 left.
One.
Jenson Kendrick, like Judd Trump, is a former English under-18 champion. Trump won that title the year he turned pro, 2005.
Eight. Jenson Kendrick, 8.
Still out to hear the red, and not much else was on his mind there.
2 each now between Kyron Wilson and Sam Craigie. The difference, 43 remaining.
Well, that's a little nudge, which of course Kendrick could do without. So this will definitely clinch the frame. Well, he's almost certainly going to win it, but he's just taking a while to get the frame chalked up.
Jenson Kendrick still searching for the 2 snookers he needs to turn this frame his way.
That is going to be end of frame, guaranteed this time. And his form has tailed off a little bit, Jenson Kendrick. He started so well in frame one, sort of belied his position in the rankings a little. But as the match has worn on, I don't think Judd has played anywhere near his best, but you know, he's got winning ways and he just eked his way to a 3-1 lead, really.
8.
He's been efficient, Judd Trump, since losing the opening frame to that fine 90 clearance. He's had to scrap it out at times, but he's scored sufficiently well when he's had the chances to just stay on top of the frame since then.
16.
And now let's put him within a frame of victory and a place in round 2. Plenty of action on the cue ball again there from Trump.
18. 21.
He talked about being in a win-win situation ahead of this match with all of the points that he's bagged, the 2 titles he's already claimed back-to-back, so he's playing with a lot less pressure on his shoulders than he was before he ended that 19-month title drought. If he loses, he says, well, it means I can go home and have a rest, and if he keeps winning, well, all the better. Nice position to be in, and it's a position that he's created for himself with some fantastic snooker. A return to his very best stuff this season, and on the cuffs now of victory against the world number 108 from Stoke, Jenson Kendrick. Judd Trump leading by 3 frames to 1. 3 times Northern Ireland Open champion Judd Trump, bidding to become just the 5th player in snooker history to win 3 consecutive ranking events. On the cusp now against the world number 108 Jenson Kendrick, who started superbly but has lost 3 frames in a row. Trump 1 away from the 2nd round. And coming up at the conclusion of this match, it'll be the 2017 Northern Ireland Open champion Mark Williams, who is currently level with Trump on 25 ranking titles, up against Tianpeng Fei of China. Jack Lazowski against Rebecca Kenner is on table 2 later. Oh dear, the double kiss.
Yeah, and I don't know what goes, but certainly even if nothing goes to the left corner, the red that he's straight up behind, up into the top right is an option. Yep, it's going to be that long red, I suspect. And of course he knows nothing goes to the left corner for his opponent should he miss it. It looks absolutely straight. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really expect him to miss it because it was just a question of his cueing, and which we know right now is as good as it's been for a while. Well, he's done a lot of hard work in this match, and now he's put himself in a very strong position whereby could potentially win the frame of match at this one scoring visit.
9. Seventeen.
Yeah, a little cannon on the 2 reds, which was played quite well. He's going to hold for the black, I think, for the foreseeable in this break until he would need to go elsewhere.
32. 33.
Well, I mean, he could go into the bunch. If he thinks that red just sticking out to the left and below of the other 7 is on, he might play on it and try and top the cue ball through the bunch from the red and get the reds open that way. Depends on whether the red goes in the first place, which he thinks it does. So now what's the next shot here? I don't know if he's got the shot
40.
to open other reds up on this shot, because he's finished the wrong side. Should have finished low for that to happen. So frame and match got to be won here, but if you get a good little nudge here, he might just feel there's a big break on. No, there is a red to the middle. All is not entirely lost as far as the possible maximum attempt, which I've called very early, but maybe it's in the back of Judd's mind. This red's got to go in, though.
He's made 8 in his career. There have been 4 in this tournament. Most recently, Mark Allen, defending champion, 2021. The year he won it for the first time in his first round against this year's world semi-finalist Si Jiahui.
56.
Trump made 1 against Matt Selt in the final of the Turkish Masters, which was the most recent ranking title he won before this season, spring of last year.
Did very well there. I mean, that looked almost straight, and he powered it in and forced a pretty wide angle. Great shot. I think you were just looking at those 2 reds. I don't know if they're a plant to the left corner. I don't know if they're dead in line. But even then, the red above it should be available. So this is looking a great chance now. Now this red, when it's potted, 72. There is no reason why he shouldn't stay on the black. And he's pushed those 2 reds into play. So we've got a serious chance for a 1-4-7 here, because the match is won, and now it's just a question of whether he does or whether he doesn't. There's nothing else to play for in this match because it's over.
There have been 2 already this season. Sean O'Sullivan made 1 against Barry Hawkins in qualifying for the European Masters. Ryan Day, the most recent at the International Championship qualifiers, a tournament that's coming up next month here on Eurosport.
Now obviously you've got to get a high angle on all reds. Which he seems to have done there. That's really nicely played up close to the red, which means the
88.
pace has got to be absolutely perfect. If it comes down to that red on the right of the table, clearly that's going to be an issue, but he might have the shot to play a double, or I mean, I don't think you'd be playing the cannon to knock it out necessarily, because you've got to push it into a place where you can pot the black following it. We'll worry about that a little later. That is now I think he's going to have to play the double. I don't see any way that he 96. Can approach it without playing that red. It's something he didn't want to do at this stage, but if he's going to make the maximum, this is going to have to go in.
One young fan in the audience willing Judd Trump to keep the maximum break alive. It wasn't to be, but it's a good way to finish off a 1-visit clincher for Trump to book his place in round 2 at the Northern Ireland Open. The 3 times champion overcoming a spirited performance from Jenson Kendrick, who started well, but it's Trump is 1-4-1.